Hi everyone, Ms. Stillman here. This is the homework 5 key. So if you take a look at the first question, we're going to want to read it and underline keywords. Jordan and Jonah went fishing last week. They dropped an anchor down that was on an 80-foot line. The line made an angled depression with the water of 75 degrees as shown in the diagram below. What is the depth of the water, D, that they are fishing in? Round to the nearest tenth. Assume that the floor of the ocean is parallel to the water. And what's nice is that when they are parallel, you get that nice Z of alternate interior angles. And what's also great is we have a diagram. Taking a look at that diagram, the 75-degree angle of depression is the same as the angle of elevation at the bottom, like we taught you in the lesson. That 75-degree angle gets labeled, that's inside the triangle. Look across. That D should be labeled opposite, and the 80 is the hypotenuse. So when we think of opposite and hypotenuse, we think sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse, and then that's what we're using over here. So sine or sin of the angle 75 is going to be opposite D over hypotenuse 80. We put it over 1 in order to cross multiply. 1 times D is D, then 80 times sine 75. Put that into your calculator. You get 77.274, sorry, that's a 4, 0661, and you round that to 77.3. That's the nearest tenth. In the next question, you also read and underline keywords. It's a question about a ramp, and there's an angle of elevation, so we know we can draw a diagram of a right triangle. So I drew the right triangle. Angle of elevation goes by the ground. That's 15 degrees. Then we look for the 20-foot long ramp. That's this part of the structure. It's 20 feet. And let's see, the height of the ramp is what we're looking for. The ramp comes up this high off the ground. That's the height. Now we look to label opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse. Let's take a look. This is opposite. This is hypotenuse. So we're using sine again. Sine of the angle 15 is equal to the opposite side, which is x, over the hypotenuse, which is 20. You put it over 1 in order to cross multiply. 1 times x is x. 20 times sine 15. Write that down. Plug it into your calculator. You get 5.176380902. Nearest foot, that means whole number, that's about 5. Question number 3 is a nice refresher of isosceles triangles because two sides are congruent. Remember, isosceles triangles not only have two sides that are congruent, but also have two base angles that are congruent. So that would be angle A and angle C. The diagram's a little small, so I'm just going to put little curves. I could have put that early on or, thought that in my head. So I made a note. Angle A is congruent to BCA. What's the measure of angle B? Okay, well, we have this exterior angle outside the triangle. We want to look toward the inside of the triangle. A straight line, linear pair, 180 degrees. 180 degrees minus that exterior angle 134 is 46. That angle next to it, next to the exterior angle BCA is 46. Oh, look, those are the two base angles that are congruent. They're both 46. Well, let's add that up, subtract from 180, and you get that the missing angle B up here is 88. On the next page, again, we want to read very carefully and underline keywords. We didn't have a diagram. When you do angle of depression, I typically draw my height on the left and making the triangle point right. You could do that the other way as well. First, we start with the angle of depression, which is the angle outside the triangle, and that top line is parallel to the base of the triangle. That 20 degrees, that's the angle of depression, has to also be at the bottom. And then we take a look at 360-foot cliffs, how far away the cliffs are from the bottom. That's where the hang glider is going to jump and hit the water. Opposite over adjacent is tangent. Tangent theta equals opposite over adjacent. Tan 20 is the angle. 360 is the opposite. Adjacent is x. Cross multiply. You get x tan 20 is equal to 360. But the tan 20 should be divided out from the side that has the x. That number gets divided, tan 20 on both sides. 360 divided by tan 20 is this 989.091871 number. Round it to nearest foot, 989. This one was about picnicking, and there's a base of a monument and 800 feet away from the base of the monument. Want to know the height of the monument? Real life example, if we can know this angle of elevation is 35, we can figure out how tall the monument is. That's opposite over adjacent. Opposite, adjacent, no hypotenuse involved, that's tangent. Tan 35 equals x over 180, cross multiply. X equals 800 tan 35. Type that into your calculator, you get that number. Rounding it to the nearest foot, 560. On the last question, they're talking about two angles being complements. Well, that's our clue that 90 degrees, that's a co-function question. We need sine and cosine. Look at each answer choice. Tan, tan, nope. Sine, sine, nope. Cosine, tangent, no. Sine, cosine of both the sine and cosine of both the acute angles. Choice 4.